Allegheny County is giving us an update on the COVID vaccine rollout, and Pittsburgh Public Schools is deciding right now when to send students back into the classroom. The availability of the vaccine is a really big factor in that decision.
And that's where we start tonight, Lisa. And Channel 11's Michelle Newell joins us live from the breaking news desk.
Michelle, Allegheny County leaders, I understand, they just held a briefing, and at this point, it sounds like they realize just how frustrated people are with the vaccine supply.
That's right. Dr. Deborah Bogan just spent a great deal of time talking about the health department's frustration over the limited supply of the vaccine, how confusing the registration website is, and what her department is doing to help navigate all of these issues. Part of the health department's frustration is its inability to plan around a known quantity of the vaccine because there is really no way of knowing how much the health department is getting each week, so it's difficult to plan far in advance. In the meantime, the health department is doing everything to tackle the problems. It's working on helping people who don't have access to the internet or can't navigate the confusing registration site.
The health department is working on better solutions as we speak. We're making plans to take vaccine right into senior high-rises and at-risk communities to vaccinate residents where they live. We're setting up a phone support registration system and are looking to improve and streamline our registration processes.
Dr. Bogan says COVID cases and hospitalizations are decreasing, but the health department is watching closely for signs of the new variant of COVID-19 in Allegheny County. Live from the breaking news desk, Michelle Newell.